All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tyson Haynes. I've been with the Miami Association of Realtors for 10 years. I've had a lot of different hats, but the past couple of years, I am definitely one of your Miami trainers. We also have two other Miami trainers. And when we teach classes specifically on the product and services that are included within your membership, we have videos that are available. We do have a YouTube channel. So if you do want to subscribe to our YouTube, you could do so by going to youtube.com/Miami Trainers. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat so everyone has access to it. That's going to show you all of our videos. Now, I like YouTube. YouTube is fantastic. The only issue with YouTube is when you want to find something, it will show you an older video that might be outdated when you're searching. So I want to give you guys a quick, easy solution to find the latest and greatest recordings when we cover our product and services. Where can you find the latest and greatest videos? All right, over here, if you go to the main website, miamirealtors.com, you're going to notice there's a little section at the top that says education. If you hover your mouse over the word education, you're going to have this beautiful brand new drop down where you can see options for virtual videos, including virtual classes that we offer, as well as all of the upcoming designations and certification classes that you can take. All right. And then further down, we do have a brand new certificate that you can get if you take a lot of our courses. We have a brand new certificate for buyer representation specialist located right here. All right, further down, this is what I wanted to show you guys. We have this tech training section. If you hover your mouse over it, you can go directly to the section where you see Miami trainers. That's going to show you all of us, your Miami trainers. And if you want to go ahead and take any of our up and coming classes, you can find those right here on the right side. If you want to find our videos under the education section in that tech training category, you have this beautiful little button here that says in-depth tech series and more. This is updated on a weekly basis with all of our latest and greatest videos for all of the different product and services that we offer. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat so everyone has access to it. All right, perfect. And then further down, if you want to see and rewatch what I go over with you guys today, you have the open house series right here. So it's going to include everything I discussed today, with exception, there's one new detail that I want to cover. We just recently launched a new product, as I said earlier, called Infinity. It is an AI system that will help you whenever you have a seller or buyer. It works as a portal so that that homeowner can ask questions, or that buyer can ask questions about that property. For example, what's the square footage? What is the interior features of that property? That AI system will answer back and give answers directly to that consumer. And it is absolutely great to include that portal when you have customers. So we're going to cover that towards the end of today. But again, come into this section that you see here, the beautiful little in-depth tech series. And then this is where we have all of our latest and greatest videos. And the best part is you can fast forward, rewind, and watch it over and over again. All right, guys, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started today. All right, so this is all about open house marketing whenever we are trying to assist the seller to sell their property. Okay, so first thing I want to make sure I mention, when you guys have listings in the MLS, you have the ability to coordinate and schedule up and coming open houses. When you schedule that open house, and I'm going to show you how to do it, automatically that open house information is going to show up on websites such as Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. And whenever you have an open house that you schedule in the MLS, it will show up for consumers to search on our public open house search website. The website's URL is southfloridaopenhousesearch.com. Okay. Another thing I want to make sure that I mention when you do have a listing in the MLS and you have amazing photos of that property, we might feature it as long as you've added your agent photo to your profile. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Whenever you set up and coordinate creating an open house in the MLS and you have great photos, and as long as you added your agent photo to your membership, we will feature your property if we select it. How do you make sure that you have your photo added in your membership profile? Let's cover that first. So, in your dashboard, also known as the resource panels, in order to make sure that you have your photo added, you're going to need to visit the section located right here where you see Core Logic Matrix. That's going to take you directly into the MLS. Now, we've all probably been here several times to send listings to a customer, but there's a little section some of us don't know about where we have to add our photo that shows up on public websites, including that South Florida Open House Search website. In order to add your photo, when you're in Matrix, you're going to come over here in the top right corner where you see Add and Edit. What you're going to need to do is click on that button where it says Add and Edit, and then that's going to take you into the input section where you can add listings or edit any listings that you already have on the market. But what I'm here to show you is where to go to make sure that you have your photo displayed. So you would go here where you see roster. You would go right here where you see quick modify, and it's telling you right here that you need to enter your agent ID. That agent ID is going to be the same ID that you use to sign into the MLS. Should be your license number. All right, so for me, it's a little bit different. It's going to be my name. I am staff. So I'm going to go ahead and put my name here, and then I'm going to click on edit. Again, what that does is it puts me into the back end of the system where I can verify if I've added my photo. So we're going to go right here where you see manage photos. I'm going to give that a click. And then this is where you can make sure that your photo is showing up. So if your profile looks just like this, you need to add your agent photo. You can do so by going right here where you see browse. That's going to put you directly into your computer where you can go through your desktop in order to find your agent photo. Once you find it, all you have to do is upload it directly from there and then give it about an hour. So if you do have a listing where you schedule the open house, give it about an hour for that photo to show up within your profile. All right. Okay. So we're going to keep going. Let me go ahead and jump over real quick. I'm going to go ahead and upload and then certify and save, and we are good to go. Okay. Just make sure to hit that one more time, that little certify and save button. That makes it lock in that photo so that it shows up on our websites. Okay. Perfect. Now, after that, once you have added your photo, I want to next show you, whenever you do have a listing, how you can set up that open house. So we're going to come over here where you see add and edit. I'm going to give that a click. And if you ever do have a listing and you are going to have a showing, an open house, you're going to go right here where you see quick modify, and then you're going to select your listing. All right. In order to set up the open house in the MLS so the public knows that it is available for showings, you're going to go into this beautiful little section here that says select form, and then you're going to click right here where you see open houses. All right. You're going to give that a click. And then from there, you have the ability to set up that up and coming open house. There's different types of open houses, and I want to make sure I cover those. So I'm going to open this up real quick, and I want to cover these 4 options. Okay, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. All right, so we have virtual public. What that will allow you to do is your seller authorizes a virtual public open house, such as via Zoom. You can select virtual public or virtual broker only, meaning it's only for agents and brokers to preview the property. Public means that the public can have access to it and then view it. So for example, if you want to do a virtual public open house, you select it, you enter the date, start time, end time, and then you would input the URL of where that virtual tour is going to happen. So, for example, if it's maybe going to be an Instagram Live, or if it's going to be maybe broadcasted via Microsoft Teams or Zoom, you would enter that link, such as a Zoom link right here, and then you would click on submit. Okay, but I want to also cover these two other options. Okay, so we also have a public open house, meaning it's going to be in person. We would select public, we would select the date, start time, and then end time. And then we would add a little description. A good little description would be, for example, refreshments provided, or something like, and cheese and wine available. Just something like that, if that's going to be a part of the open house. The last option I want to cover real quick is broker open house. If you don't know what that is, I want to make sure I cover it. Again, broker open houses or virtual broker, that's just going to be for agents and brokers to attend, but they're on very specific days. So, for example, a broker open house in the Miami Beach area is typically on a Tuesday. Again, it's more for previewing a property for a agent to get maybe some marketing materials to try to assist selling the property. And again, Miami Beach, it's going to be on Tuesday, typically. And then everywhere else in South Florida, a broker open house is typically on a Wednesday. Again, outside of Miami Beach, again, it's going to be on a Wednesday. Okay. What I'm going to go and do is we're going to schedule this. I'm going to go and select public. I'm going to say that we're going to have it for this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and click on the 10th. I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to enter a start time, but make sure that you enter the correct start time. I mentioned that because I used to be in the MLS department and agents accidentally put the wrong start time and then it doesn't show up on the South Florida Open House website. So be very cognizant of the two buttons that you see here. So if it's going to be, for example, at 1 o'clock, the start time, we want to put 1 o'clock, select PM. If it's going to be at 11 a.m., we got to put in 11 and then AM. Just be very aware of these buttons located right here. If you do not set it up correctly, for example, I've had agents do this. They put 12 a.m. It's going to show up as being an open house during midnight. So make sure you do it absolutely correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and put 12 p.m. Let's go ahead and say that it ends at 3 p.m. We're going to add that description, cheese and wine available. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and click on submit listing. And then that's going to lock in that open house. So about 2 hours later, that open house is going to show up on our public portal for South Florida open house search. Okay, perfect. So we're going to keep going. The other thing I want to make sure that I mention is when you're in Matrix, if you're ever working directly with a buyer, right? And they want to see a property. For example, it's Friday. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That buyer calls you and they say, hey, I want to go on a showing tour this weekend. Time can be of the essence. So I want to show you what I call is a get out of jail free card, if you will, to try to rapidly find property that's available for showings. If you go into the MLS, if you go into this little search section, if you go into the residential sections, for example, you have a buyer that wants to buy a single family home, you can input the standard filters that we always do. So, for example, active, single family, single. We could enter the bedrooms and bathrooms. I'm going to pretend that we have a buyer that wants to see properties, as an example, in the Doral market. So I'm going to go ahead and put Doral here. And it's letting me know that there's 20 available 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, single-family homes in the Doral area. But this is the cool part. The next thing I'm going to show you is, again, that get out of jail free cards where you can rapidly find and schedule and see if there is properties available for showings that weekend, right? So if you come down here where you see additional fields right here, click on this add button. If you've never added fields before, it's just going to say add. If you've added fields in the past, like me, for example, I have short sale REO, it's going to say add and remove. Click it. That's going to take you into a library of fields that you can add. And I want to show you guys a really cool one called showing time -TA. You don't have to type it like I am. As long as you put a portion of the name of the field, for example, just showing, you can go right here where you see showing time -TA and then add it as a filter. So again, if you're working with a buyer, they give you very limited amount of time in order to see if properties are available for showings. Use this field. Again, it's the showing time -TA. Click on yes. And then you're going to see all 13. So we did lose 7. We have 13 listings where the listing agent has activated showing time so we can coordinate and see if they're available maybe this weekend as an example. All right, I'm going to click on results real quick. All right, perfect. Again, if I'm working directly with a buyer and I want to coordinate in a rapid fashion to see if the units are available for showings, I'm going to say that my buyer is interested in these 3 right here, just as a point of reference. And if you want to rapidly see if they're available with that field, you select them. And in order to put those properties directly into your showing time cart so you can coordinate and see if they're available, after you check mark them, there's a little button here under the action section. Make sure you're not in refine, save, or carts. Make sure you're here under actions. And then you can click right here where you see showing time. What that's going to do is offload those listings directly into a cart where you can see if they're available. So we're going to go right here, add those properties directly to a cart. I'm going to create a brand new cart. Click on next. And then from there, we can go ahead and select the date. I'm going to say, for example, Saturday the 10th. From here, I can enter. If my buyer's not already registered in showing time, I can add them manually, enter their first, last name, email, phone number. I can add additional notes regarding maybe the type of property that they're interested in or the time that they want to see the property. I can mention that here under the notes, and then I can create their account. All right, I already have one, so I'm going to go ahead and select one in the list. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. All right, from there, it's going to offload those 3 properties, and then I can select a time from here to see if they are available. All right, we have a little pop-up coming directly from showing time. It is a fantastic reminder. The buyer's agent must have a written agreement with their buyer before the buyer's tour to home. Please select yes below. You are indicating that you have read the above reminder. Just keep that in mind. We want to make sure that we have that agreement signed. I'm going to go ahead and click on yes. All right, and then I can coordinate for the very first showing, the 9959 Northwest 29th Street. I from here can go ahead and select the type of appointment. Most of us are going to try to show the property, but we have other options here. Maybe it's a second showing, third showing, virtual showing, I should say, agent preview, all the way down to walkthrough. We can select the type of showing. All right, we can include any specific notes directly to the listing agent regarding maybe who's coming, how many individuals are going to go. Maybe I don't just have my buyer. Maybe they're also bringing their spouse. I can mention any additional details. And then under instructions for your buyer, I can mention anything I want to my buyer before I submit them a list of the properties that we're about to show. I'm going to show you where you can provide your customer a list of the scheduled appointments once they are confirmed by the agent. So right here where you see instructions for buyer, we could put maybe a little notation. This will be the first property we will view. You would select a time when you would like to see the property. So I'm going to go ahead and say, for example, let's try to see if we can see it at 11:30 a.m. through, let's do, for example, 12:30 right here. And then we would just click on save. Now, we haven't sent the requests yet. We're just selecting the time for our buyer. We would do the same thing for the second property that we're trying to show. We would do the same thing for the third property that we're trying to show. Once we select the times, we go right here on the right where you see send request. That's live. Once I click on send request, that's going to alert all listing agents that we're trying to see the property. And then once we get the okay, once we have over here under appointment status confirmed directly from the listing agent, we can either email our consumer, our buyer, a report of all of the showings that we set up for them by clicking on the envelope, or we can create a PDF or a printout so that they know all of the up and coming showings that we're going to have with them. Another really cool thing that you could do in the showing time section, real quick, just want to cover this, is you also can make sure that you're coordinating all showings in a time efficient manner. You have this beautiful little smart route button. What that will do is put all of the showings together so you can get from point A to point B, again, in a timely manner. Okay. You also can add any other stops. Maybe your buyer last second goes to Zillow or Trulia and they want you to add another property to the showing list. You can click on add listing stop, enter the listing number, and then that will add it directly here. You can also add a manual stop. So for example, after we show them the three properties, maybe we want to have them go directly back to our office so we can go over what property that they might be interested in buying. We can click on add other stop. And for example, if we want to have them go directly back to our office, or maybe we want to have them go maybe to a restaurant after we show them properties, we can enter that location. I'm going to say my office. I'm going to enter the address real quick of the office. All right. I'm going to input the city. All right. And then I'm going to put the zip code. Or actually, it's Miami Springs. There you go. All right. I'm going to add that stop. All right. And we can add that directly to our list from here. We can update the smart route as well. And then that's going to let us know exactly how to get to all of these locations. Once we do that, once we have that, again, that confirmation after we hit send requests, once we get a confirmation on the units that are available Saturday, we have that envelope button. And then this is great customer service directly to that buyer where we can send them a buyer's version of all of the up and coming properties that we want to show them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that real quick. Buyer's version. We're going to include the listing images so they know what the properties look like, including the scheduled time that we've put into the system. We could also provide that buyer with great customer service. We can show them the turn-by-turn directions as well as a map of all of the locations that we are going to go directly to, including our home office. Just make sure, though, that you select the buyer's version, submit it directly to your buyer. Agent's version, don't do that because that's going to show the listing agent's information when you share that PDF. Now, in order to generate the PDF, if you want to maybe email that to your customer or maybe have it printed out and then provide that to them, you can go right here where you see print tour and then make sure that you save it as a PDF. That way you can share it electronically. Okay, perfect. Just wanted to go over that, guys. Okay, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Again, the solution to this, again, if you ever get that last minute question from your buyer, hey, I want to go on a showing tour this weekend. Again, it's 11th hour, last minute. Include in your search this field, showing time -TA. Select yes. That's going to quickly just show you all of the properties where the agent has enabled showing time so we can do a quick confirmation if they are available. Just out of curiosity, did you guys know about that field? If you didn't, go ahead and put that in the chat. I hope that helps you guys. Just wanted to provide that little detail. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. The next thing that we're going to cover is if I'm working directly with the seller, how can I best market that property? Okay, so our next stop, where we're going to go next, is into Agent 3000. Agent 3000, if you haven't heard of it, is an amazing product and service that will help you create that proposition to secure that seller agreement or a buyer agreement. There is so much marketing that is available in that platform. What we're going to cover today is all of the open house solutions within the Agent 3000 system. So we're going to go right into the dashboard. Agent 3000 is located right here, guys. But do me a favor, As I mentioned, I've been with the board for 10 years. Don't get lost in the mirage of all of the buttons. Sometimes you can sit here for a couple of minutes trying to find what you want. Take advantage of this little search bar. As long as you know the name of the service that you want to access, you can type it in here, click on apply, and it will just show you that service in your dashboard. Again, I'm all about saving time because we need to when we're working directly with our customer. Okay, so I'm going to go directly into Agent 3000. All right, and this is the easiest part. Over on the left side of the page, we have a section specifically for open houses. Okay, it's located right here where you see open house new. Before you take advantage of creating an open house registration page, make sure that you visit this cogwheel located here in the top left corner. It's a little green button. It's your settings button. Before you create any marketing pieces, maybe you create a open house flyer, maybe you go into the brand and market section and you create an ebook letting your seller know what to expect through the selling process or buyer process. Again, come to the settings button, make sure that you fill out your account. Include your name, company's information, your direct phone number, office fax if that applies, email address, and website. And most importantly, include your logo if you have one. You would just go here under choose file, you would upload it, and then make sure that you add your photo as well by choosing the file and then uploading it again before you generate any type of marketing solutions using this platform. Okay, so what we're going to go into next is one of my absolute favorite things in Agent 3000. That is creating an open house registration. So go here, it's brand new. Go into the section open houses and you can click on the open house page. Okay, what does this do? What is this? If you're ever working with a seller and you set up and schedule an open house for them for their property, the open house page will allow you to email buyers or buyers agents that are going to try to see the property. We can have them register before they get there. And for example, if that buyer's not working with an agent, when they register, we can ask them to include their first name, last name, email address, their phone number. Are they working with an agent? Where did they hear about this open house? We always want to know what marketing that we're using that's working the absolute best. And also, how soon are you looking to purchase as well? Another really cool thing, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Another really cool thing that you can do with this open house page is if you're comfortable, you can open up the open house registration page on your tablet. And as buyers and prospects enter the home, you can have your tablet open and then have them register. And then when they register, they're going to show up as a lead right here under the open house guests. Again, that's up to you. If you want to allow for your tablet to be used as consumers are coming in and register, this is a great form of lead capture. Okay, so what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to say that I have an open house up and coming on Saturday. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my listing. All right, and then from there, I'm going to create that open house registration. All right, we have some great photos for the property that I'm going to go ahead and select. Man, that pool looks great. Let's go ahead and select a very dynamic image. I'm going to click on the very first one. And then from there, we select the date of the up and coming showings. Again, I'm going to say that it's going to be this weekend. I can't believe it's already May the 10th, guys. This year is flying by. I feel like just yesterday I was saying Happy New Year. All right. And then from there, once we select the date that our seller's comfortable with in order for the property to be seen, I can create that page and then select a color scheme. I have a light option and I have a dark option. My personal favorite, guys, is dark options are always going to be great on the eyes. I'm going to select dark, and under required fields, again, I want to lead capture, get as much information as I can from that consumer that's coming to see the property, or when they get there on my tablet, I'm going to include their guest phone number, Are you working with another agent? Where did you hear about this open house? And I'm going to include the additional option of how soon are you looking to purchase? Okay. Further down, we can add our photo. Very important that we add that under the settings. We can add our agent photo. We can double check our contact information. And if you're paying for Agent 3000, what do I mean by paying for Agent 3000? If you're paying the $20 a month upgrade for Agent 3000, you get a CRM and you also get a website as well. If you don't know what a CRM is, it means customer resource management. It's a database where you can keep tabs of all of your past clients, current customers, and prospects. You can load them directly into the CRM in Agent 3000 and then create tasks and reminders whenever you need to do something for them, and also create an email blast reminding them that you're still in business. If you're interested in upgrading to Agent 3000 and have access to a CRM and a website, all you have to do is go here in the top right corner. There's the little phone button, and then you would call Sean directly. Sean Summer is the creator of Agent 3000, and then you can let him know that you're interested in upgrading. All right, let me go ahead and close that out real quick. There you go. Okay. But you get everything else for free. I want to make sure I mention that one more time. You get every single thing else for free in Agent 3000. You guys have for free the Eve AI system, the ability to use the brand and market section. There's a lot of great stuff in here, including ebooks. You can print them out. Whenever you have a buyer or seller go to your office, you can show them the ebook, letting them know the buying and selling process. We have worksheets and checklists as well, branded infographics, and much, much more. You get, as I mentioned, 90% of Agent 3000 for free. What you would pay for, again, for that $20 a month is that website and CRM. So that's the reason why I'm mentioning that is if you do create this open house registration page, you can automatically have the prospects load directly into your CRM, and then you can enter and create a buyer group or a prospect group, and then they will show up directly into your contact section in Agent 3000. Again, that's going to be a part of the upgrade. Okay, perfect. So we're going to keep going, guys. All right, further down. All right, Daphne asked real quick before we keep going. Also, can you talk about the branding again? I would love to, if you guys don't mind. We don't usually cover that in this class. We cover the brand and market section in the Agent 3000 Part 1 portion. But if you guys have time, I'll cover it. I can cover that once we get past this part right now. Okay, so again, let's make sure we're focused on what we're talking about right now. So again, we're creating an open house registration page that we can email directly to buyers, agents, or prospects that want to see the property. And again, this is also a great solution if you want to open up that registration page on your tablet device as well. So over here, if we do want to send it via email, we can go ahead and create a little subject. We can use this before or after they view the property. So I'm going to go ahead and say, please be sure to register prior to visiting our property. I can enter an email right here. It automatically gives you a suggestion for free, including a link to more information on the property. But again, this is something we can change. So I'm going to go ahead and put hello. Whoops. I thought I did it after. Let's try that again. Yeah, when things go live, things get a little interesting. There you go. I'm going to say hello and then thank you for attending. And we hope you loved the property. Please be sure to register. That way I can get back to you if you have more questions. Again, we automatically get for free a link where if that buyer liked the property, but they want to see the photos again, they have that little link right here. We can double check our information. And then once we're ready to either email it or open up the registration on our mobile device, I can click on save. And then further down right here, we can open up the link on our tablet device, or I can email that link directly to prospects or buyers and buyers agents that visited the property. I would just go here one at a time, enter their email address, and then click on send. If I want to update any of the information, I do have this edit button. So if I want to go back and maybe update any of the information, I can do so. And then I can click on save. If it no longer needs to be in the system, meaning I've sold the property already, I have the ability to click on the trash can here to delete it. Okay. If you want to open it up on your tablet device, all you have to do is sign in to miamirealtors.com on that tablet, go into Agent 3000, and then open up this page right here. Click here to open. And then as buyers come in, prospects come in, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see our information up here at the top. They're going to have a QR code that we can share with them if they have their camera there, where they can see more information on the property. We also have the ability to lead capture, get their first name, last name, email address, phone number. Are they working with an agent already? How soon are you looking to purchase? And of course, where did you hear about this open house? We want to know what form of marketing that our brokerage is doing and how effective we are. Once they sign in, they click right there, and then they're going to show up. You don't need the upgrade for this part. They're going to show up as a registered prospect or buyer right here under the open house guests section. You're just going to see all of those registrants here. Again, for free. You can also, here's the awesome part. Once they register, if you want to export those customers into maybe the CRM that your brokerage offers, you have this beautiful little export button. That way you can upload them into your CRM. Okay, perfect. So again, take advantage of this open house page, guys. That way you have a digital solution once consumers come in to see the property. If you want to have maybe a printout version, meaning where they sign in person to register, you can go here under brand and market, and then you have access to worksheets and checklists. This is going to be bonus. So we're going to go here under brand and market, and I'm going to go right here where you see worksheets and checklists. So if you don't want to use the open house registration link and you'd rather have a printout version, again, go to worksheets and checklists, go right here where you see select worksheet. All right. And then you have an open house sign-in sheet that you can print out as consumers and buyers come to see the property. Again, we ask the same question. How serious are you? Just looking? Need to buy now? Plan to buy within a year? Planning to sell? Are you working with a realtor? Again, we can get their name, email, and phone number. In order to generate this, you would select the open house sign-in sheet. You would click on select, and then you would click on create worksheet. Agent 3000 is going to remind you, do not create multiples until the very first one that you clicked on has generated. If you go to the next one that you want to create quickly, it'll stop the process of the first one that you asked it to generate. Okay, perfect. So it did already create that open house sign-in sheet. And here's the beautiful part. It is branded with our information at the very bottom. Again, essential that you go into the settings menu and add your information. Okay. Also, you can provide a link version of the sign-in sheet right here. And you can download a PDF version of the sign-in sheet. Just make sure that your pop-up blocker is not enabled. That way you can access it. That's the PDF version. And you also have the JPEG right here where you see download worksheet image. This is going to be the JPEG version of that open house sign-in sheet as well. Okay, perfect. All right. Also, we have a trash can just in case you want to delete older files that you've had. Okay. Now this part's going to be bonus. I want to show you guys real quick the branded ebooks. I'm going to go into branded ebooks. And if you ever are working directly with the seller or buyer, or maybe you're a first-time home buyer, or you want to educate a seller on some additional hacks that they can do, on the property, and also maybe they want to be the first one to submit an offer versus the buyer. We have a ton of guides here. We have a seller's guide 5 hacks, a buyer's guide, and then a first-time home buyer's guide. It's going to look like we created these books. That's the beautiful part about it. So what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to show you the buyer's guide. I'm going to click on buyer's guide. I'm going to include my profile photo, my logo. I can enter an additional option for a biography about myself. If you do include a bio about yourself, keep it short because there's realistically not that much space right here for your bio to show up. Just be very short and sweet if you want to do so. Once you select the book that you want to create, you click on create book. Again, be patient. As I mentioned earlier, just give the system time to generate that ebook before you create the next one. Okay. I've already created it before, so I'm going to cover that real quick. So if you have a buyer, right, they're not completely familiar with the buyer process, we can go ahead and let them know the process from beginning all the way to closing. There's different ways that we can provide these buyer guides. We have a link version right here where you see PDF URL. I can click on this little magnifying glass. That's going to give me the link of the guide located right here at the top. And I can copy this and then put this link everywhere a link goes, including a text message. I can put it into a Facebook post. I can even put it into Instagram. Or if I want to text this ebook directly to my customer using WhatsApp, I can do that also. All you have to do is grab the link. I would suggest to email it to yourself. That way you can access it on your phone and then send it from there. Let me go ahead and open up chat real quick. Chantel, absolutely. Absolutely. It is amazing. Okay. So again, that is the link option. Let me go ahead and close these pages out real quick. Again, that's going to be the link version, as you can see right here. We also have the flipbook embedded code version of the guide. What that means is if you want to have the ebook on your website, right? Maybe you have a website and you want to create a section to educate sellers on the selling process or a buyer on the buying process. You can take this little iframe and then put it directly into your website. Okay, let me just show you what that looks like on mine. Open up my page real quick. All right, here we are. We go into the seller section. All right, hold on. There you go. And then you can incorporate it and then create a page that includes more information here. Okay, so we're going to keep going. The other really cool thing that you can do with the flipbook embedded code, there's a really cool little hack that you can do, is if you want to send a virtual version, there we go, a virtual version of the book where they can flip through the pages, go here. Again, go to flipbook embedded code. And if you want to text them a virtual version where they can flip through the pages, you copy this part, the part within the parentheses right here. You copy as soon as it says HTTPS, we copy that part all the way through the end of the link where we see the name of the guide. We copy that, and then I can put this into WhatsApp text as well. And then as soon as my customer clicks on it, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see a virtual version of it, your home buyer guide, our information here, and then they can flip through the pages. It's going to give them all of the information on the buying process, including 10 steps of the home buying process, the timeline of events, upfront costs, closing costs, your information, and then, of course, frequently asked questions. But more importantly, it's going to emphasize why they should work directly with us, why they should hire a realtor. We are amazing at paperwork. We're great at negotiations. We go into the MLS. We run a comparative market analysis in order to figure out the price that the buyer should pay. We also have the ability to understand the market. That's the great thing about realtors. We know if when we're in a seller's market, balanced market, buyer's market, and then we can, of course, tell them what the purchase offer should be. All right. We also have, of course, this is the first thing that we always ask them. Have you been approved? Have you gone through the pre-approval process? Have you did DU, right? We have that part. We also have, let's discuss your wants and needs. I understand you want to buy a property, but what do you want in that property? Are we looking for maybe a BBQ station in the backyard? Let's make sure we get your priorities Correct. We also have where we come into play, again, the negotiation process, the inspection period, what's going to be looked at during the inspection period, the appliances, plumbing, electrical, the septic system. Not a chimney here in South Florida, but we have radon, of course, pest termite, and of course, a general overall quote on how much that inspection would be. We have submitting their loan to the lender, the order of the appraisal and the title work, clear to close, and get ready for the closing. Again, what they're going to expect through the buying process. Again, of course, the timeline of events. And again, it looks like we came up with this. We created this ourselves. All right, let me jump into chat real quick. Okay, so again, this is just the buyer's guide. Keep in mind that we have them also in here one more time for sellers. A beautiful seller's guide, 5 hacks, and then a first-time home buyer's guide. I'm just going to cover real quick the seller's guide, 5 hacks, because it has some really interesting information in it. Some things that we don't always think about when we're working directly with the seller. We do think about this one, of course. When we do take photos of the property, we always want to do some touching of the photo through, for example, maybe Photoshop or maybe Canva. Digital retouching, making sure that that property looks great, has maybe a more warmer vibe, right? Digital retouching of the photos. How we can use virtual staging. It's another thing I want to make sure I mention. Maybe we're taking property photos and they vacated the property. They removed all of the furniture. There's an option for virtual staging. We can mention that directly to the customer. And speaking of virtual staging, if you ever want a virtual staging solution, you took photos of the property and you want to virtually stage it, we have a platform for that. We have Virtual Staging AI. You would just click on Virtual Staging AI. You guys do get a discount. You would just go right here. Once you take the photos for your seller, you can upload them from here. And then you would select the images that you want to upload into the system right here. And then you would select the room type. So for example, this is going to be a living room area. We can select the furniture style. We have standard, modern, Scandinavian, industrial, mid-century, luxury, coastal, and farmhouse. Let's go and do Scandinavian. I'm going to click on process photo, and then that's going to have the AI system take the photos that we took for the seller and then virtually stage them. Just wanted to not just show you the marketing piece within the guide. I also want to make sure I show you how to virtually stage the property. Okay, so for example, we just did that. Now it's giving us 3 different solutions, as you can see. And then once we find one that we want to use to put into the MLS or use within our branding and marketing for a customer, we go right here where you see unlock all features. And then we have some amazing pricing. 6 photos, $16, 20 photos, $19. And then they have much larger packages. But because you're a Miami member, you get a discount. Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to make sure to include that, guys. There's other things here in the seller's hack, including addressing your shortcomings, right? We want to make sure that we try to make the property look as charming as we can. We would also maybe want to mention offer a concession towards closing costs, maybe the property in our area based on comparables. Maybe the other comparable units in the area have had a lot of improvements. Maybe they updated the kitchens. We could try to tell that customer, hey, let's try to maybe upgrade the property, make some modifications. Maybe that seller wants to make them an offer first. Maybe you have a buyer that's interested. Maybe the buyer doesn't pull the trigger on an offer price. Maybe the seller can make the first offer. We also have another one. Sometimes we forget about this. Advertising the mortgage balance as well. Okay, guys, just wanted to cover that real quick. Again, Branded Market has the branded ebooks. We also have these worksheets and checklists as well. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you guys real quick is if you ever want to create a flyer for your up and coming open house, you can go right here where you see flyers. And if you want to create a beautiful open house flyer, maybe you want to put that on the outside of your office, or maybe you want to email it directly to customers or put it on social media, you can go right here under flyers, click on open house flyer. enter the listing that you have. You would go right here, plug that in, click it. And as long as it's your listing, you're going to be able to do this. Or if the agent said it's okay to advertise, we can do this as well. I'm going to click on I agree. And then we can create that flyer, including up to 6 photos. I'm going to select some outstanding photos of the property, including some of the amenities. Whoops, let me go back here. There you go. Boom. Let's go ahead and do this one as well. Let's also go ahead and show the garage and that beautiful pool in the backyard as well. And this is what's really cool about this part, the open house flyer. If we're advertising another agent's listing, right? Maybe we put this flyer on social media, we have the ability to hide the address. That is a great way of having that consumer or prospect ask the next question, right? We put it on maybe Facebook. We put it in our business page, and then someone clicks on it. We want them to ask that next question. Oh, this property's beautiful. I see it's got a pool, it's got a boat dock, and it's ocean access. Where is this property located? We want to force them to ask that next question. We can also hide the price, but my opinion is don't hide the address and the price. Either just hide the address or the price. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and say just hide the address. We're going to show the price. And then I'm going to say that I'm working directly with the seller, that we're going to have an open house up and coming. So we have that open house option and the broker open house option. I'm going to select the date of the 10th. All right. And then we can enter a start time, just like we did in the MLS. I'm going to say that it's going to be from, let's do 1 o'clock to 4 p.m. If we're also doing the open house maybe the next day, maybe on Sunday, I can go ahead and select that date. That's going to show up in the flyer. I can enter the time. I can even include a QR code. So if I print this out, maybe have it outside of my office, someone can use their phone to access the QR code to get more information on that property, or I can just have it show my profile photo. I'm going to suggest to use the QR code if you print it out. That way, if a consumer may be passing by, maybe you have a boutique office, they could pull out their phone, use that QR code, and if they ask the next question, your information is going to show up, and it's going to show up as a lead in your email. So again, one more time, the importance of your settings here, make sure that you have your preferred email and make sure that it's inside of your profile. That way, if you share this flyer, someone accesses the QR code, we want to know that they registered. Okay, from there, we can select a color scheme, including a background image color. We can select a color scheme. We can also select a text color and then content text color. Content is going to be the information about the property located here. We're going to make this super short and sweet. I'm going to go and just use a purple. That way it kind of matches some of the photos that we selected. All right. And then from there, we can mention any amenities about the property. We can include the remarks or remove them as well. And then we can create a PDF version. PDF means that it's going to be a higher quality image of the flyer that we create, or we have also the create JPEG option as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the create PDF flyer. All right, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and click on allow, and then that's going to automatically load that flyer that I can use on social media as well as print it out. It's going to have your logo here. It's going to hide the address based on what I suggested, the asking price, the dates of the up and coming open houses, beautiful photos of the unit, as well as the amenities, our information, and that QR code located there. So again, if they have their phone out, it's going to take them to a landing page about that property. They can register in that landing page. Okay. All right. Perfect, guys. Just wanted to make sure to go into the flyer section to show you how you can quickly create an open house flyer. Okay. The last thing that we're going to go over is a brand new product that is available in your dashboard. We have a brand new product called Infinity. It is an AI system and a lead generation system. What do I mean by lead generation? If you are a listing agent, what you want to make sure that you do is when you have a listing in the MLS, access Infinity. What you can do is claim your listing and then create a public portal where customers, if they're not familiar with that area or they want more information on the property, they can go directly into a public portal. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go in here real quick. I'm going to go into the My Listing section real quick. This is where you can quickly access any of your listings, and then you could share it directly with your customer. Under the Explore option, if you're working directly with a buyer, you can find properties and create this public portal. I'm going to go ahead and say that I have a buyer. Their name is John Smith. I'm going to click on Create, and then from there, I can go through the MLS database and select properties. So I'm going to come here real quick. Let's put in a price range just to lock that in real quick, 450 up to 800,000. All right. And then, for example, maybe my buyer's interested in this unit right here. I can share access to that property directly with them. Okay. You also have the ability under active through the map to locate it right here. And then you can look at the activity, preview the property, share it, as well as maybe create a portal page for the property on your website. There's also the embedded option. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the Explorer real quick. So there you go, Explorer. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put in a quick little zip code, 33178 here, just to jump into the system. Whoops, it didn't do it right. Let's go ahead and put in Doral just to do that. There you go. Should work a little bit. There you go. Perfect, perfect. Brand new product. I'm going to mention that we should update the zip codes a little bit so we can get that to work. Okay, so this is the cool part. So if you're working with a buyer, right, and the property is in the MLS, okay, this is the cool part. Or if you're a listing agent and you want to provide them with a portal where they can get more information on the property, once you find that listing or your listing, you can claim it. If you're the potential buyer's agent and your customer wants to ask more questions, you can click on enter. And this is a form of AI where they can ask more questions about the property. They can go directly into a tour. They can ask questions to the AI system regarding the restaurants in the area, what areas are great for a dog walk, or if they want to ask their very own questions, they can come over here and then ask some additional questions. So again, you take this link up here, or you can automatically have them join you. Maybe you created the link and you want to jump in on a call with them. You do have a join video call button. Just make sure that your permissions on the tablet device or your phone has been set up. It's going to automatically create the camera option and your audio, and then you can connect the call directly with your customer. Just wanted to make sure I mentioned it's really cool, this system. All right, over here, though, I'm going to go back on the left. I'm going to pretend that I'm the consumer accessing this portal that I share directly with my customer. I'm going to say, for example, what banks are in the area. And then I'm going to click on send. All right, the AI system is going to receive that question, and then it's going to run that query and then give us all of the banks in the area. We could do the same thing for restaurants, retail, any type of question that the consumer may have about that area. All right, cool. We're going to come over here in the top right corner. Right here where you see the three dots, you can switch to a full screen view. If you want to add your customer directly into the experience so that they can view the property details with you, you click on the little plus sign, and then you can send them a link to the portal where they can ask those additional questions. If you want to send a text version where they access it on their phone, we have SMS. You would put their phone number. You can add a little short message. If you want to email it, you just put their email and then compose the email, guys. This is amazing, not just for buyers, agents. Infinity is great if you have listings. This works great as a virtual tour of the property, just in case maybe that buyer cannot go there or the seller just wants a quick, fast, easy AI option. as well. All right, guys, that is it. Just wanted to cover that real quick. Again, this is a brand new service. I just wanted to cover it as an additional bonus. Again, it's called Infinity. Again, it's a portal that you can share directly with your consumer so that they can get more information, not just on that property, but also about the surrounding area as well.